Hi everyone, welcome to the ChessBase India office. I'm here right now, just arrived back from Cape Town to Mumbai and going to the Global Chess League. Today is the opening ceremony, but I had to find some time to come here to the office. Why? Because the books have been restocked in our shop here. You can see that there are a few new titles which have come, and all the best selling books that were there which were out of stock for quite some time are now back in stock. So I'm super excited. I want to show you the new titles which are there. Let's go. We put a few books here together. Our team has put that together. First one is Maximize Your Chess Potential by Dan Heisman. I think Dan Heisman is a very popular author, and let's just look at what this book is about. The book is about general improvement, thought process, psychology, tactics, safety, positional concepts and strategy, openings and endgame. So it looks like a very interesting book with all these tips in there. You can see that when you are winning, do not worry about the little things, and then a position here, and it looks like a fantastic book for people. Like, let's look at this tip. If one side is weak on a certain square complex and the other side has that color bishop and the side with weak squares does not, the queens are on the board, that is usually worth at least an extra pawn. So all these very interesting stuff are in this book. You can check it out. Okay, let's go to the next one. 100 Endgame Studies You Must Know. This is a brilliant book by Jan Timman. He's known for his studies himself, but in this book he has given studies which are very famous. Like, for example, if you look at the first one is the famous Reti position, and he has given that as the first one and with the answer. So actually speaking, you can look at this one, read something about it, try to solve it here, and then see the answer here. It's such a beautiful format that they have. Every study is on the left page, the answer is on the right, and I think this is a great primer, a first introduction to studies and solving. Okay, Strategic Play with 1e4 by Milos Pavlovich. That's interesting. And we have a phone call here in the office, busy office, guys. And this one has Sicilian Defense, 4 Knights, Vienna, Caro-Kann, French, Scandinavian, Perk. So very interesting. I think it's a complete repertoire with 1e4 by Milos Pavlovich, and I think he has written opening books before. So quite an interesting book here. Okay. Jesus de la Villa, he's already well known for his 100 Endgames You Must Know book, and now he's come up with 50 mistakes you should know. Is this endgame oriented? No. In fact, this has all the facets of the game, middle game, end game, opening, you can see here. And let's look at the over here, exchanging pieces, calculation, defense, attacking the king, strategy, positional sacrifices, end games. So 12 chapters in all, and 50 mistakes you must avoid or you must know. You should know. Like, for example, error number 30, ignoring the possible exchange of the queen for material of similar value. Yeah, many times we are not ready to give up our queen. So that's a very common mistake. So it's a great book. I'm actually getting excited. Every book is so good. Okay, Powerhouse Pawn Sacrifices, How to Lose Small and Win Big in Chess by Ivan Cheparinov. Ivan has been the second of Vasilin Topalov, and he is a world-class GM, and he has written a book on Powerhouse Pawn Sacrifices. So it's all about pawn sacrifices, and what I love about this is that in typical cases you have different openings: Vienna, Catalan, Advanced French, Queen's Indian, and then there are some very instructive games as well. So a good book for pawn sacrifices. We have the Endgame Labyrinth back in stock by Jakob Agard, one of the most complicated books on endgames. Actually, this is by Agard and Stefan Nielsen. It has studies related to endgames, as you can see here. These are actually, it's must check here. For example, this is a study by Vasily Smyslov here, and this one also are, I think, studies. So Stefan Nielsen is known for his studies that he has made in chess, and this book is learning endgames through those studies. Okay, this one, conceptual rook endgames workbook. So there is actually a main book and there's also a workbook of conceptual rook endgames. So here you can see it's a very thin book, but it has some very nice themes. So you can actually workbook, as in you can solve them. Beautiful, white to play, and I think this can be very helpful for your endgame. So you can get the book and then the workbook as well. Then we have a book which is loved by everyone. It's called The Woodpecker Method. It is the second volume here. I think we also have Woodpecker Method in hardback. This is positional play, the same book here. It has around 1,000 positions and all of them are positional themed ones. So it's the same as Woodpecker 1. Woodpecker, this is 1,000. Woodpecker 1 had 1,100 tactics. Woodpecker 2 has 1,000 positional chess puzzles, and it comes from the games of world-class players, so world champions. Okay, we have Bobby Fischer Comes Home, The Final Years in Iceland, A Saga of Friendship and Lost Illusions by Helgi Olafsson, and this is as a foreword by Vishwanathan Anand. I'm so glad to see that Anand has written about, maybe here, I think this one is by Vishy Anand. That seems like an old book here, but if you want to know more about Bobby Fischer, this has recently been introduced into our shop. Olafsson knew him very well. And then there is Aaron Nimzowitsch, and this one is Annotated Games and Essays. We all know the great Nimzowitsch wrote the My System. He had some great thoughts back in the day, like blockade and restraint and so many concepts like overprotection and so on. And these are the games of Nimzowitsch which are edited and annotated by Rudolf Reinhardt. Okay, we have 1,000 Chess Problems by Yakov Vladimirov. And what are these 1,000 problems? Let's have a look at it. It is also about studies. A two-mover, very simple, the queen of chess problems through the maze of variations and in the world of chess fantasy. So you will see, again, these are studies that are there here. And so right now here we can see a lot of studies in our shop, new books. These are 1,000 problems that are here. Maybe if you want to get better at it, nothing like it. Here we have Chess Imbalances, a Grandmaster Guide. Now Mauricio Flores Rios is very well known for writing a book on pawn structures. It was a very famous book. We have it in our shop. I think we would have restocked it as well. But he's come up with a new book which is Chess Imbalances. I'm really very happy that he wrote about this. Bishop against knight, opposite colored bishop, bishop pair, rook against two minor pieces, pawn sacrifices, exchange sacrifices, because this book can give you a lot of ideas of how to make imbalances on the board. Like, let's imagine you go and chop off a knight for your bishop, and then how to play. So all this can be learnt here. In fact, I'm a big fan of imbalances. I learnt it from Jeremy Silman. In fact, we have an entire playlist called Imbalance Theory on our YouTube channel based on that. Turbocharge Your Tactics. This is a very popular book by Grabinsky and Oleksienko. I know Grabinsky from his very famous book Perfect Your Chess, which had incredible positions, and now he has written two books with Oleksienko, and it has also great exercises to solve. In fact, there are close to 200 plus positions here. As you can see, this is 200 and I don't know, there are some many 250 odd positions here, and you have to solve it with great answers. Theoretical Rook Endgames by Sam Shankland. well, one of the best players in the world. He even reached round 5 of the World Cup here, played amazingly well, knocked out Daniel Dubov. So maybe he should have reached round 6, yeah, maybe quarterfinals. And he has written a great book on the theoretical rook endgame, so you can learn about many rook endgames, and he's explained them in great depth with such notes here. And then we have Jakob Agard and Rainier Castellanos writing about mastering chess exchanges. Now, how to exchange pieces, and all of this is in this book. Again, Agard's method is very simple. He teaches you and then makes you solve stuff, and that is the same thing that they have done here. It's about learning how to exchange pieces. So another great book. We have a very interesting title called Associative Thinking by Mikhail Shereshevsky. Now, Shereshevsky is well known for his endgame strategy book, and he is a very good author. So here you can see masonry and essence of associative thinking, cooperation between knight and pawn, to hurry or not hurry, benchmark and errors, and very different kind of topics actually. And I'm curious to read this book. I haven't read it yet, but this is another book that we have here. Learn from the legends. Oh, Mihail Marin has launched his next book, it seems, because the first book was very cool, Learn from the Legends. Now this is Learn from the Legends 2, and here you have the players: Leonid Stein, Polugaevsky, David Bronstein, Paul Keres, Lajos Portish. So these are all the players who did not become the world champion. In volume 1 he had Tal, Smyslow, Botvinnik, Carlsen and so on, who became world champions. So another cool book. You will get to know about these slightly lesser known players but greats of our game. This one is a very interesting book, Everyone's First Chess Workbook, and this is by Peter Gionatos. I in fact met him recently. He is the founder of the Charlotte Chess Club, and I kind of made this connection. Oh, this book is written by him, and it is about the first workbook that anyone can have. So if you see here, this book is very good for someone who's just learned chess, the rules of chess, and then wants to get better at it. So capture free pieces. So if you go to this position, it's black to play, the bishop can take the knight, and it's very good for people who are beginning their journey in chess. And then we have the next one here, The Philosopher and the Housewife, a very interesting book here by Willy Hendricks. Title, I think in terms of giving like the top spot for titles, this one would get it, because well, what is this, The Philosopher and the Housewife? But I think it's Taras Nimzowitsch and the Evolution of Chess Expertise, and you can go through these contents here. I think he might have some great things, because I think Willy Hendricks also had this book, Think First, no sorry, it was Move First, Think Later, and that book was a very cool one, and I think you will also get to learn something here. We have The Center Game by Arne Moll, E4, E5, D4. Not a very big fan of this opening, but maybe there are some interesting traps and ideas which are here. I remember that after ED, Queen D4, Knight C6, the queen goes back to E3, and it's quite a complex line if you want to catch your opponents by surprise. Maybe not a bad book to check. We have Mastering Chess Defense by Johan Helsten, a very famous author here. And you know how we all learn about attacks in chess, but defense, detecting the threat, intermediate moves, counter threats, backrank motives, perpetual obstruction, distraction, and all these different tips of defense which are here could be very useful. And then we have Tiviakov's Rock Solid Chess. In fact, we have 3 volumes here, and Rock Solid Chess comes with, this is the 3rd book, Moves Found with the Aid of Intuition, Candidate Moves as a Method of Finding Best Moves, How Much Time Should I Spend on a Move, Prophylactics Move, How to Avoid Blunders. Tiviakov is well known for this solid form of chess. At some point he had a streak of more than 100 games going unbeaten. So he has his favorite opening lines that he plays, and he's very, very solid. So that's why his series is called Rock Solid Chess. We then have, oh, that's a cool book, Botvinnik versus Mislov and Petrosian, and matches in 1954, 57, 58 and 63. So if anyone wanted to know about this era of chess, where chess became more professional with Botvinnik coming in, and before the entry of Tal and, Tal was here, but before the entry of Spassky and Fischer and then Kasparov and Karpov and so on, this is a great book. You can see all the games are very nicely annotated and you get a glimpse into chess history. We have this book which is very well known and has done very well. It's always out of stock, 1001 Chess Exercises for Beginners, as Akshat Bhai brings in new set of books for us here to also show. Very, I guess we have to show later our place where we have all our books. It's like filled to the brim, guys. It's insane. So 1001 chess exercises here, and that's for beginners. It's like the tactics workbook. So if someone wants to learn about pins and forks and mate in 1, mate in 2, double attack, discovered attack, it's all here. Then we have the Invisible Chess Moves by Immanuel Neumann and Yochanan Afek. There are moves on the chessboard that look, you can't find it instantly. They are invisible. And this book has some very nice such moves. Like for example, in this position, the best move here is Rook F5 and black is okay. No, it's tough move to find such moves. But if you do this, it might become easier. We have Kulyasevic, who has written How to Study Chess on Your Own workbook, exercises and training for ambitious players. This is volume 3. We might have volume 1 and 2 as well for lower ratings here. And you can see that he always gives like, what score have you done? This is your corresponding ELO rating. So you not only solve, but you can also make points out of this. Very creatively done book. And then we have Daniel King's Anti-Sicilians for Black, a black repertoire for completely King's Kalashnikov. This is actually a Chessable course which is now made into a book, and Chessable books are always very colorful and nicely done, so you can check it out here. We also have King's Anti-Sicilian for Black also put in here. I think both are the same books. So then we have Dismantling the Sicilian by Jesus de la Villa. Oh, Jesus has gotten into openings as well. Complete modern repertoire for white. Actually, this is not a very new book. It's an old one, so you can check it out if it fits into something that you would like to have. We have Converting an Extra Pawn in Chess by Sam Shankland. Now, how many times have you been pawn up and then not managed to convert it? This book could be very useful for you. Shankland on a spree of writing books, yeah? We saw the Rook Endgame book, also this one. And what I love about Shankland's books is that he explains things quite deeply. So, very cool one. Here we have Chess Survivor by Andor Lilienthal. This one is actually, Lilienthal is a well-known chess sort of a classic player, and it is his games that are there. You can see it played Tartakover, Alec Hein, all these great players of the past that he played against, and these are all games annotated by him. So if you want to know about a well-known player. Then we spoke about Turbocharge Your Chess Tactics. It's 1 and 2, so that's here, the second book. Then we have the Berlin Defense Unraveled, a straightforward guide for black and white by Louis Bernal. And I think that's an interesting book because, many people do not know what are the depths of Berlin. And I think in this, he has gone deep into the Berlin defense. So if you are interested to learn this could be a book for you. The Hidden Laws of Chess. This is volume 2. We might have volume 1 as well by Nick Matman here. And Nick Matman has spoken about in the Hidden Laws of Chess. Let's just look here. Thinking, calculation, judgment, sacrifices, pseudo-sacrifices, dynamic pawn play, and so on. So an interesting book. And Capablanca's Endgame Technique, the astonishing chess logic of third world champion by Alex Kolovich, and this is now a chessable course which is turned into a book. So if you want to learn about Endgames by Capablanca, this could be a nice one. We have Boris Gelfand's famous books. There are now 4 books in our shop. Positional, this is there's dynamic, technical, and major piece. All of these in hardback, I think, and paperback. So do get them. They just go out of stock very quickly. We have Arthur Yusupov's course of 10 books that is back, which is Boost Your Chess, Build Your Chess, Boost Your Chess, and Chess Evolution. That entire series is back in stock. So we are very happy about that. We have, there you see the positional decision making by Gelfand. And we have this Grandmaster Preparation series. It's a 6-book entire combo of Jakob Agard. It is here. It has calculation, positional play, attack and defense. There's endgame play, thinking inside the box, and strategic play. So these are the 6 books, and you can get them. They are, I think, very acclaimed series for any serious player. I would recommend it for any ambitious player with a rating of around 1800 plus would be very nice. And my favorite book is back in stock for anyone who ever asks about how to get better at tactics. I always say Chess Tactics from Scratch. It teaches you how all the tactics work here, and then in the end there are 300 positions that you can solve, and it is really cool. A book for anyone who wants to learn chess in the way that Kasparov and Karpov learned when they were young. The Soviet Chess Primer, a book that is loved by many people. It teaches chess in a very refreshing way. Like, for example, it's not your typical ऐसे chess सीखना है, you learn chess this way. It's like it gives you very interesting positions and very interesting moves. There was this one section where it was all about brain teasers here, like this. You see a brain teaser here. So a very cool book that I really liked. Then we have 100 Endgames You Must Know. Workbook is here. This is a great book. One of the best-selling books if you want to learn endgames, very much so. So we have the Silman's Endgame course. I think that's easier, and then you can go to this one. Endgame Strategy by Shereshevsky. We saw the Associative Thinking by Shereshevsky. This was his book that is very acclaimed. It teaches endgame in a practical way, like things like do not hurry, try to take your time, and all of this centralization of the king and so on is in this book. Then we have 100 tactical patterns you must know. So you have like 100 endgames you must know, 50 mistakes you must know. Now there is 100 tactical patterns, which is interesting because tactics come all the time in the game. So for example, here is pattern 42, the extended hook and ladder trick. And if you look at this position, it is rook d1 check here, and then if rook takes d1, then queen takes c5 check. So like basically certain kind of tricks which are very common are explained here. And actually that was not, if king f2, I believe, yeah, then there is a mate. Oh, let me just pull it up. It was 42, right? Yeah, this is the one. So rook d1 check, and if bishop d1, then queen e1 is a mate. If king f2, then queen e1 mate. So that's a very cool one. And then we have Praful Zaveri's, whoa, thinking different chess course. Praful Zaveri always comes up with new packings and everything. It's very cool. Oof. And by the way, this is one of my first books at chess when I was growing up, so I have special affinity to it. And Praful Zaveri has actually always kept tweaking his books, keeping it updated. So here you can see it not only is one main book, but also has now 6 workbooks with it. So you can get them in our shop. We have Under the Surface by Jan Marcos, a very famous book. I love its cover. It shows like, oh, the move bishop b6 checkmate was found by the grandmaster, but all the calculation which was under the surface, which is not seen, is explained in this book. So that's why the name Under the Surface. And then we have The Iron English by Simon Williams and Richard Palliser. If you want to play the English opening, then this could be a nice book. So these are all the books, some of the new ones, some of the best selling ones that I could show you. There are many more that have been restocked. We had an order of 5,300 books that came in. I think another 2,000 books or 1,700 books are on their way, which are coming in. So I'll put the link of the entire catalog of our shop so you can go through them, and if you want to get those books, you can do that. It took a lot of effort to get these books to India. Just coordinating everything. A big shout out to Quality Chess, Jakob Agard and his entire team for helping us to do this. And also you might see that the prices have increased a bit. The paperback is now $13.99 and the hardback is $17.99. This has many reasons. First of all, we launched these books at $9.99 in 2017. So now it's almost been 8 years. So we have constantly kept increasing the cost a little to little, and we've also seen that there is a currency fluctuation. So if you look at any such book, for example, let's say this one, the actual cost of this is $40. So if this is available at $13.99, $40, the dollar is now 90, which makes it 3,600. So this is still very affordable. We have tried to keep it as low as possible, keeping it in our mind that we want to make it as affordable for our for all of you out there. So thank you all for all your support, and please do get these books so that we can make more space and order the books regularly. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.